peaceful people, struggling we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. No, we ain't giving up no mountain, and we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belong to we. Not the one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one for us, not a blade of grass. This land is our land now, we're gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow, but never break. Our fathers came here, and they lived and died here, and we are moving from here, make no mistake. No, we ain't giving up no mountain, and we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belong to we. Not the one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one for us, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupanuni and the Essex Cribbo, daytime or night. Though we criticize it, this is our home, we love it.
Audio check, 1, 2.
We have that right. No, we ain't giving up no mountain, and we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belong to we.
All right, pleasant good night and good evening to each and everyone. Welcome to GT592FM Radio. It's a wonderful Monday right here in beautiful Orlando, the Sunshine State of Florida. And welcome to another edition, the second edition of Cricket Fever, a World Cup edition. I have started this program last week, and we had a little Matthew Achaibar, always come on board when it comes to a World Cup edition, giving his analysis of the Cricket World Cup. And today we have someone all the way from Guyana joining us for the very, very first time. And he's no stranger when it comes to a platform like this. And before I introduce him and stuff, I just want you guys who is locked in. Right now, we live on Facebook. We live as well on YouTube. We're going to be live as well on the GT592FM radio app in a minute. But for those people who's locked in on the earlies, we asking you guys to please share it out. It's not a DJ segment where I normally do shout outs and stuff. I appreciate you guys sharing the feed for us tonight. We're going to have a great and a wonderful cricket program with my guests joining me in a minute or two. All right. I want to say good night and good evening to those people locked in right here in beautiful Florida, also down in Guyana, down in the islands of Tortola, British Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, whatever part of the Caribbean you're listening to me from. My name is DJ Shaun, Fantastic Songs. I'm no stranger when it comes to a cricket program. I have literally launched this program since 2018 in the British Virgin Islands. And every year when it comes to a CPL, when it comes to Cricket World Cup, I always love to do this program. All right. I want to say a big shout out as well goes out to my sponsor, of course, goes by the name of Dio Moti, all the way down in Boynton Beach in Florida. Thank you so much for coming on board, Dio Moti and family. Thank you for your sponsor. And also to Mr. Hiralal Beam from Florida. Pleasant good night to you. Thank you for your sponsorship as well. And to Mr. Lokeshwar Mohabir, the Mohabir family there in beautiful Eccles, I think down in Guyana as well. Blessings. Thank you for your sponsorship coming on board. And welcome to everyone locked in. I'll give a big shout out to Navin Singh, to Shivani, to the Jadunod family, and to everybody else who is locked in. Is another edition of cricket fever. All right, we're gonna go and recap some games that actually played today. I didn't get the opportunity actually to literally watch the game because of my busy schedule. Literally, I was watching some of the highlights today, and we're gonna start with Group B game since that it was a pretty big game today. Group B game featuring Australia versus the Sri Lanka. Yes, Australia versus Sri Lanka. And you guys know what happened today. I wouldn't really say it's an upset. I predicted the Sri Lankans to beat Australia today, which they did. Australia batted first. They made 181 with Mitchell Marsh 54, Travis Head 56, Josh Inglis made 22, and Maxwell made 27. Bowling for the Sri Lankans, Dushman Hemanta 3 for 37, and Chamira 2 for 36. And in reply, the Sri Lankans, fantastic 100 from Patun Nisanka, 100 not out, along with Kushal Mendes, 51. And Sri Lanka winning that game very convincingly, so to speak. All right, they defeated the Aussies by 8 wickets. And it seems like the Australian cricket team will be tattering to save include it means that to be in the final two. I know Zimbabwe are playing Ireland tomorrow, and that game, even if Zimbabwe beat Ireland, I know they will go ahead of Australia. And if Ireland win tomorrow as well, they probably will go maybe with run rate and stuff. But it seems like Australia have to pack their bags and head back home. Disappointed. Game for Australia today is being disappointed for them. Zimbabwe actually beat them as well a couple days back. Very, probably one of the biggest upset in the World Cup. And we're definitely going to hear a little bit more with my guests going to join us in a minute or two. UAE versus Afghanistan. That's a Group D game. UAE made 160 for 9, and the Afghans 162 for 5. So the Afghanistan defeated the UAE there. A very easy win there for the Afghan team. All right, I'm gonna tell you a little bit what's been happening as well. As you guys know, the West Indies played Nepal, and West Indies convincingly winning that game against Nepal and qualify as well for the Super 8. All right, so a little bit there about a couple games. We're going to talk a little bit about India versus Pakistan as well. Welcome to GT592 FM radio. Once again, this program is brought to you with the kind compliments of Dale Moti, all the way from Florida, and also Mr. Hirilal Beam. Thank you so much for coming on board. All right, I will just activate my camera a little bit and making sure that my guest's gonna hear me in a minute or two. But before I do that, um, join me in introducing this brother, a person who I have known for so long, growing up in Guyana. I always hear him every time on an intercounty game, on a professional game, whether it's Barbados, whether it's a first class game featuring Guyana versus Trinidad, Guyana versus Barbados. I have him tonight to introduce to you. Joining us live is Mr. John Ram Singh, internationally recognized cricket commentator and founder of FL Sport, pioneers of live sports streaming in Guyana, and organizers of the largest table tournament in the Western Hemisphere, the CARES One Guyana T10 Table Blast. As we welcome Mr. John Ram Singh to DJ Shaun Fantastic Songs 592 GT592 FM radio tonight. How you doing, bro?
Hey, good night. Hello, everyone. Certainly a pleasure and an honor to be here. I love to see that this program grow from strength to strength. Congratulations on this bold move, my brother. The longest journey starts with the first step, and here you are making that very first step. So congrats on that. And I'm hoping that your list of sponsors will grow. Your audience will grow in the near future as well, because your message is one that we want to take far and wide, not only in the Sunshine State, not only in the beautiful 592, but further afield, because it is quite an interesting message that the world needs to know.
Well, yeah, of course. And thank you so much. I must say thank you so much to make it possible tonight because of your busy schedule and stuff. And I know my brother there from Canada, Dave Roshan, that, he was like, man, you need to get my brother, Mr. Ramsing, on this platform. And I had your number for a while. And, I think since CPL, I had your number. And unfortunately, I didn't get in contact with you, but I had to get you on this platform today. John, for a little bit of my listeners out there who's locked in, give a little brief introduction by yourself. I know you're very big when it comes to sports, not only cricket, but nationwide, all over Guyana. And I know my listeners will want to know a little bit more about you tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate this opportunity to let persons know a little bit more about John Ramsing, maybe the voice, like you mentioned. You'd have heard me growing up. You're making me feel so old, my brother.
No, 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 not at all, bro.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a very humble community in Georgetown, Campbellville, and that's where the passion for sport began because not much were happening in terms of distractions. Carl Hooper was living in the next street. The guys like Lennox Kush, Nino McGarrell were in the area, and some of those guys would play street cricket in the very street that I grew up in. And to see someone like a Carl Hooper running around in the corners of the road and so on, and then seeing him on TV the very next week or thereabout, that inspired me to really get involved in cricket. And there's one time, I don't think I mentioned this story before, maybe this is the first time, when I was going to primary school at the primary three level. We were getting ready for common entrance class the next term, and it was a busy period, and the teacher was like, "Okay, it's time for a rest." We had to take a nap in class, so I put my head down and I took from home. My uncle, he had just bought a cricket magazine that featured the West Indies, of course, and I was reading while my head was down on the desk, reading about the likes of Viv Richards, Sir Curtly Ambrose had just started there as well, and these are the guys. Ian Bishop was around at the same time as well, and I was like so fascinated to know. And then flip again on the next page. There's my childhood hero, my neighbor, so to speak, Carl Llewellyn Hooper. I was like, yo, this is something I need to really explore because if Hooper is in my backyard today and next week he's in the magazine and so on, I may be onto something. So I pursued cricket. I tried a little bit of club cricket in Georgetown on the east coast of Demerara, on the east bank of Demerara as well, but they were conflicting with school. I was at the Bishop's High School and then University of Guyana. We had to make some tough decisions at those times because academics and sport were difficult to balance because lack of teachers, lack of different things, and so on. But while at university, I actually got the opportunity to work at the state-owned radio station, the JBC back then. While pursuing my degree, I was given the opportunity to do some live cricket reports from various under 19 tournaments that was happening around that time. Guyana used to be known for hosting under 19 tournaments, under 15 tournaments, and so on. So while at university, I would jump on my motorcycle, head to to LBI, which is not too far from where I was, or in the city, in the Demerara Cricket Club ground, Everest or Border, those are close by grounds that hosted matches, and send my reports. And was not playing, but I was still part of the game. And that's where the journalistic part of me started, doing radio reports. Then eventually I got the opportunity while watching a club match uh, at Terrace Park. One of the guys fell out who was scheduled to do commentary, and they were like, "Are you willing to give it a try?" I was like, "Sure, let's go. Tell me what to do, when to do it." And that's where it started back in the year 2000, 2002. And the rest is history, like they say. You heard me on in the county. I managed to do not only local games, I did regional matches. One of the first, if no, actually the first to do a CPL final on radio. The first Guyanese to do a CPL final on radio. Um, I did international games as well from Providence. I went on to do international West Indies and India women. That was on a stream game, a stream platform. I was scheduled to do a next international series, but then COVID-19 came. But I still maintained that relevance as a journalist, a cricket broadcaster. And during the COVID-19 period, when everything was locked out. There was no in-person interaction. I built a stock of equipment, and when COVID cleared a little bit, I unleashed my equipment to say, look, you cannot get close to each other, but because of my equipment, you can see what's happening. I started live streaming, and now FL Sport is like I said, it is the pioneer in Guyana, and we have grown from strength to strength, and now we are the go-to for live action in Guyana. So that's where it started. That's where it is today, and I'm hoping that in the near future, it can really grow into not only a streaming platform, maybe a big broadcasting platform with satellites and what's not, but like I told you earlier, the longest journey starts with the first step.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about FL Sport in a while as we get into our conversation. But let me just take you back a little bit. As you said, you always have this passion for cricket and journalism from a very long time. And growing up in Guyana, my dad, he was a very, very big cricket fan back then. He used to sponsor the East Coast League. And I remember the age of 9, he took me to a Berbice versus a Demerara game. And I feel like I was literally watching a test match because like there were so many people there and the competitiveness in the intercounty region then, I fascinated over that, right? And then I fell in love with more international cricket. I remember going with my dad to watch a India versus the West Indies game at board. I had to line up probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you know. But I could remember my early days of listening to radio commentary, and I always loved Sean Devers. I remember him during the time. I remember Mr. Naim Chan, growing up listening to him. Colin Croft sometimes used to be on as well. And I did listen to you, Mr. John Ramsing. I was probably about what, maybe 19, 18 at the time, listening to you doing intercounty. Now, tell us your early days about doing cricket as a young person growing up.
Yeah, in 2002 it started. Like I said, I got the opportunity, just a club match. It was second division game on East Bank of Demerara, on the lights at a Thirst Park ground, and some clubs on the East Bank were playing against each other. It was a Friday night edition, really. Every Friday, clubs will get together and so on. And the radio station, not very far from where Thirst Park is located, but partner with this tournament, and that's where it started for me. Unfortunately, as well, because of my knowledge of the game, playing the game as well, at that age, and being on staff at the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation, the sport editors at the time, they were Visham Ramsewag, that is, and Basel Passar. Those guys, like, you know what, you have a passion for this. And of course, the language, not only the English language, the cricket language was there as well. So they said, okay, let's work on some things. And once you're ready, once you're the finished product, we're going to try to get you involved at a higher level. And then I was actually producing some of those commentaries, scoring. I did scoring. My first actual big job at the intercounty level was as a scorer and radio scoring, prepared. Once you know the art of radio scoring, you
Yes,
can
yes.
use that stat to make your commentary so much more informative and so on. So I moved from scoring, I put down the pen, picked up the mic. It was a game at Albion, like you said, cricket in the country. It was Berbice against Demerara, packed house again. And I was a little bit intimidated, like thinking, okay, what will I do here? But it just started to flow. And then I got a big break in 2003 when Reds Pereira was sitting next to me as I think, my
Wow.
goodness, what is going to happen here now? So I got my first stint. It was a Guyana versus Canada, the under 19 level, TCL under 19 cricket, Guyana against Canada at Wales. The Reds Pereira there. We started. After my first stint, Reds came to the back of the box and said, young man, in his very articulate way, young man, that was very well done. I love your use of stats that brings something different to the table. Keep it up. And he showed me some points as well that we can work on. So those are some of the early part of doing commentary. But one of the most memorable part of the early days was being in Berbice. We were at Skeldon Ground. I was told that the year before there was a commentary box that was high. It fell or it was torn down for whatever reason. So I was like, okay, we got there. Where will we be commentating from? And the guy was like, oh, over there. Pointed to a trailer that was attached to a tractor. And I was like, okay, are we gonna move this somewhere? They're like, no, no, you're going in the trailer. And that was fun. Persons were around this trailer, persons were sitting there. The pavilion was rampant. Those are the days of Asad Fuladin, Rion King, Ramnir Sarwan, Shiv Chandapal. Those are the guys that were playing cricket at that time. It was around the era when they had that super sub when like Rion King was substituted
I
and
remember
someone
those
else
times.
came. Yeah. And it was so fantastic to see. Oh, this is the little baby, by the way.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was so fantastic to see the crowds coming out to see inter-county cricket at its highest level. Players at that time were playing for pride or playing for the county and what's at stake. If they were going to get an opportunity to go to trials to represent Guyana, if possible. The Red Stripe Bowl was there around the same time, and Guyana were playing the KFC Cup as well back in 2005, which was the last time, ironically, we won a 50 overs tournament, a regional 50 overs tournament. Guys like Sheila Chatgood, Mahendra Nagamoto were around, and yeah, so those are some of the early memories from the early part of the cricketing career of John Ramsing.
And that's amazing indeed, man.
It
You
is.
share so much of great and wonderful knowledge, not only for myself, but for those people who is listening for the first time. We are talking to Mr. John Ramsing, internationally recognized cricket commentator and founder of FL Sports, pioneers of live sports streaming in Guyana and organizers of the largest table tournament in the Western Hemisphere, the Cares One Guyana T10 Table Blast. All right.
Before you go, Sean,
Um,
Sean, just one sec. And those were the days when there was no Barbish River Bridge. We had to take the ferry. So to do a game at 9:30, you had to be there the afternoon before lining up.
yes. Yes,
So that
yes,
I had
yes.
to get that in there.
Yes, for sure. John, I know you are big when it comes to CPL, internationally cricket and stuff, and the World Cup is here. And let's talk about India versus Pakistan.
Mm.
There's always that rivalry when it comes to India versus Pakistan. Disappointed effort from the Pakistani. They were bundled out for 114 after India made 175 for seven. India won that game by 61 runs with Ishan Kishan made 77, Tilak Varma 25, Surya Kumar Yadav, the captain, 32, and Shivan Dubey 27. 175 for 7 with Saim Ayub 3 for 25. Pakistan, in reply, were definitely bundled out for 114 with a top score from Shaheen Shah Afridi. He made, no, well, not top score, sorry. Usman Khan made 44 and Shaheen Shah Afridi made 23. Bowling for the Indians, well, you have Hardik Pandya, 2 for 16, and Jasprit Bumrah, 2 for 17. Aksar Patel, 2 for 29, and Varun Chakravarti, 2 for 17. India versus Pakistan. John, did you have the opportunity to watch that game?
Of course, it was one of the games you must look at, regardless of what level they play. India Pakistan, that rivalry. Um, yeah, did not live up to the billing. We expected a better showing from Pakistan, especially all that surrounded the match before the tournament. We really wanted to see Pakistan put up a good fight. Trust me, they wanted to win. No team want to go out in a World Cup losing, especially to your neighbors
Of
and the
course.
biggest rivalry as well in world cricket. But India were just clinical in every department. They read conditions nicely, and they actually manipulated things when things were not going their way. The likes with the bowling changes were very, very much on par with anything else. I love the way Sky, Sir Surya Kumar Yadav used his bowlers, did not allow anyone to really settle in against his bowlers, and Hardik Pandya, and of course, Mr. Yorker himself. How can you, yeah, Jasprit Bumrah, how can you really play him in the depth? So those are some of the clinical performances you must look at when India took on Pakistan in that game. Pakistan, Saim Ayub, difficult opportunity for him at the top of the order, did not make use of it. But they were totally outplayed in all departments. It was too difficult for the likes of Shaheen Shah down towards the end to really come back. The first 10 overs really decided where that game was going to go. The first 10 overs in a run chase, that is. Because at the halfway stage, you felt that Pakistan in with a chance. But it shows a little bit of nerves as well. But that we go back to the IPL. IPL really prepares India for world assignments. 8-1 now, that's the tally in
Yep.
World Cup for these two sides. 8-1. With the odds against Pakistan, we expected a better showing, but it was not to be.
I mean, when you look at the level of cricket from Team India, you look at the tests, look at the ODI, look at the T20, they're always there in terms of competitiveness. The results have shown why they are the best. And, as I was telling Matthew Chaibar last week, I really feel this World Cup is there to India to go into the final and win that final. What do you think about that, John Ramsey?
Yeah, well, I mean, the way things are set up, it reminds me so much of the tournament in 2022, which was hosted 2024, sorry, which was hosted right here in the Caribbean, when teams took the seeding from the pre-tournament seeding into the Super Eights, and it goes to show that there's a pathway to the final. And India, they have an opportunity as well to go on to another final at the next level. You expect them to be playing against the likes of South Africa, West Indies, and chances are Zimbabwe. We mentioned Zimbabwe earlier. So Australia will should be eliminated. So when you look at the likes of West Indies, South Africa, Zimbabwe, two teams will move forward. We expect India to be one of those two teams moving forward from the Super 8s into the semi-finals, and then they'll take on one of the teams, England, Sri Lanka, chances are New Zealand, Pakistan. You understand? So when you look at what's happening on that side, we expect India to have a clear passage to the final. You know what? In T20 cricket, one bad over, one bad uh, passage of play in the game can really hurt you. But India, they have that strength to really come back. But it's there for them to win, really.
Let's look at Pakistan, for instance. Very very inconsistent team, as we all know. If we have to classify some inconsistent team, Pakistan, West Indies, they're always going to be two of the most unpredictable team. They came in there and they was just disappointed to see how they literally bat. Like they were in trouble. The spinners had them in tatters. 175 on that wicket. What did you actually think about the score that India literally posted? I literally think Pakistan had a chance to actually go there and make those runs.
Yeah, the halfway stage, tell Pakistan 176 to win, they will take that any day. And they had a very good power play, despite losing Saim Ayub very early. They came back nicely, the power play was good. But then it started to slow down just after maybe around over number 8. So 8, 9, 10 was not really in their favor. So the halfway stage in terms of overs, there were about 70 runs, 4 wickets, and then that collapse. And it was difficult to come back after them because, like I said, the likes of Jasper Bumrah, Chakravarti with his deliveries, these guys are some of the experts when it comes to that bowling, and in the middle overs as well, strangling batters, Akshar Patel and these guys. So it goes to show that uh, not only the start was bad for Pakistan losing an early wicket, but the middle overs, they did not control the middle overs well. And as a result of that, they lost not only wickets, they lost momentum, and eventually the game.
Definitely, indeed. West Indies versus who did they play, boy? I didn't actually got a chance to actually watch that game.
England,
Um,
Nepal.
Nepal. I know that they play Nepal there. I was actually was DJing all week. I literally had two per days to do, so I didn't get the opportunity to watch the West Indies versus Nepal. I know they win that game by what 9 wickets, and
Yeah.
they are literally qualifying there for the Super Eights. Tell us a little bit about what you think about the West Indies performance this year. They go into that tournament as I would say the underdogs. Nobody literally gave West Indies a chance in 2012, 2016, and in 2026, I still believe nobody literally will give them a chance to go out there and play their brand of cricket, that flawless type of cricket that they always play. And, I really think after the England game, they really made a big statement and say, hey, you know what? We are the West Indies. We are the two-time champions, and we here to win the World Cup 2026, John.
Yeah, I think you called it right. No one gave them a chance before the start of the tournament. Even some of the fans, they're wearing two T-shirts, West Indies at the start, and then after that we'll take off. But now we see that they're wearing it proud. And I'll tell you what, West Indies is still the second team for most cricket fans around the world. They may have because of favoritism, and Australia, maybe India, wherever you go, but your second best team is always West Indies. And are we seeing a little bit of revival again? And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Shimon Hetmyer is now batting at number three in the top order for West Indies, where he belongs really. He's made his name as a youth cricketer in the top order for West Indies. At the youth level, they say best batters must bat early. So Shimon Hetmyer has been the best batter for West Indies for a long time coming. And you need to have your best batters face most of the deliveries, take most of the responsibilities. So it's Shea Hope alongside Shimon Hetmyer, whether it's 1-2-3 or 1-2. Those are the guys that will be responsible for getting West Indies into some good totals or setting up nicely for a good chase. And because of all of that, it gives the bowlers the opportunity to come with some cushion. You must have bad balls. The opposition batters will be prepared to take on your attack. But I think the move of having Shimon Hetmyer in the top order has really done it for West Indies. And the inclusion of someone like a Roston Chase as an X factor, that is something as well that many persons are not happy with. But Roston Chase is not a bad choice when it comes to being an X factor. So Darren Sammy, the head coach, mentioned that Roston Chase is going to be playing the role of a Marlon Samuels, anchoring the innings and being one that can play one of those match-winning knocks for the West Indies. We saw him against England, what he did. He had the opportunity, did not play the previous game. Matthew Ford was there. But it's an opportunity for players like Matthew Ford as well, once given a chance to come and perform. So West Indies, if you look at that side that was picked from last year's CPL, it is arguably the best team on paper from the West Indies. And because of the players that are in that squad that have been playing the trade around the world, they are the best side, maybe barring India, to go on to take this title.
Let's just talk a little bit about the team. There always a little controversy surrounded the West Indies 50-man squad. When you look at players like a Shamar Springer, very, very talented indeed. A Ramon Simmons, left arm around, swing the ball around a little bit. I was kind of surprised, not seeing those two, and maybe a Amir Jangru for a Johnson Charles. Your emphasis about those players there.
Yeah, like I said, Django has had his opportunity the last time he played with the Falcons in the CPL. Before that, he was with the Jamaica franchise and so on, but not totally consistent, not the type of player you really want to, give it a responsibility in a big tournament like this. Johnson Charles, on his way out, you may want to say, but is one of the guys that was trusted and proven to be a match winner, not a starter in this year's World Cup. The captain, Shea Hope, is with gloves and arguably the best glovesman right now with white ball for West Indies. So he deserves that and as a backup. So that's why Johnson Charles is not a front line in this year's tournament. And had Amir Django been there, he as well would have been the one on the bench in terms of a wicketkeeper batsman. All right, not a bad option totally, but just that not for this time in his career. In terms of the bowling, I think, like I mentioned, the left-hand variety would have been very good with someone like Ramon Simmons, yeah. But then you look at what West Indies took, with Jason Holder, he's there. Seals, there's Jaden Seals, Shamar Joseph, of course. So then we have Matthew Ford. We cannot rule out our guy Shepherd, Romario Shepherd, all seamers. And then you look at Moti, Akil Hussain, and Roston Chase as the spinners. So I think while they may not have that left-arm variety, you have trusted and proven seamers who are capable enough. They're all right-arm seamers, but they're all different type. Look at Jason Holder coming from 6'7", Shamar Joseph, skinny, lots of pace, and of course Seals. We haven't seen Seals as yet, but he's tall as well. He's raw in terms of pace. He can be a match winner. So we have a good variety in bowling, just not the left arms. I'm not bothered about it at all. Oh, and
John.
you mentioned Shamar Springer. It's unfortunate that only 15 players were selected. Had there been a 16th person to go on tour, it would have been Shamar Springer for me.
Yes, that was well said indeed. John, looking at the West Indies campaign before the World Cup, they were beaten badly by South Africa. They were beaten very badly as well by Nepal, and they were very, very, very disappointed in those series. They coming into the World Cup and look at the team, and what are the weakness, so to speak, in this West Indies team that you see compared to say a 2012 or the 2016 when they won that World Cup?
In terms of weakness, very difficult to point in terms of performance weaknesses. But I think only team that can beat West Indies at this stage is the West Indies. If they do not show up, if they have a little bit of infighting, maybe personality clashing, injuries that your best players may not start. But in terms of what may be a bad trade for West Indies at this stage, uh, I think their confidence maybe they have a good side. It's difficult to say that what is lacking right now because the bench is strong. You mentioned Johnson, Charles. There's Seals, of course. Samson not getting an opportunity as yet either, and also the bench is strong when you look at what's happening with West Indies cricket in this World Cup. So it means now that the only thing that they can be worried about is themselves.
You say it how it is, but when I look at the bowling attack, boy, the bowling attack is pretty young with no Alzari Joseph there, the most experienced of the bowler there. I mean, Shamar Joseph is there. He has been kind of a little disappointed in the last couple months or so. I know he's coming back from injury as well. Ford, now he's a bowler to me. I really love Ford. He's not that much quick, but he's a bowler that nipped the ball around a little bit. You see that against Nepal. He got a couple wickets there. Jason Holder, for me, is one of the key bowlers for the West Indies. He's been one of the most consistent bowlers for the West Indies there. Gudakesh Moti, you have seen his development, playing for Guyana, playing for the CPL, playing for the Warriors and stuff. Tell us a little bit about the development about Gudakesh Moti when he started Test cricket to ODI cricket to T20. What you have seen as a player when it comes to Moti.
Well, you and I mentioned the early days of being at Albion watching cricket, inter-county cricket. That's where I saw Moti for the very first time. And he was a little guy, just maybe the height of his cricket stumps. And he was there looking up and observing everything that is happening around him. And Devendra Bishu, his clubmate, actually took him to be a room attendant. That's how Devendra Bishu started as well. When the visiting teams were there, they were room attendants, attending to the needs of the visiting sides. And Gudakesh Moti started to play his cricket at age 11 or thereabout for Guyana. And we have seen him develop from that age. Quite interesting, about 2022, 2023, I was doing a game at Everest, and Gudakesh Moti was playing, and I saw him bowling the Chinaman, and I know it was not in his repertoire before. And at the end of the game, I asked him quietly, what was that about? He said it's something that he's confident now that he can actually include into his artillery, and he wants to start working on it more. And he started then, and we saw it coming out. But he's one of the go-to bowlers for West Indies across the formats. His bowling, when he was playing alongside Veerasammy Permaul for Guyana with red ball, some of the opposing side said Veerasammy Permaul is a champion, but they need to watch Gudakesh Moti closer than Veerasammy Permaul because of what he does with the ball, and plus he's a little bit taller as well, give it a little bit more bounce. And we saw what he's doing with the white ball now. In the 4 overs that allotted to him, we see him not trying to be put against what like a one monotonous. Doesn't He's not trying to be monotonous. He's trying to have that variety, and because of that, it's making it difficult for batters to really understand what he's trying to do. And that's why at one time he was ranked number one because he's a quite a sensational bowler, and he backs it up with his feeling. So he is the pretty much the total package for West Indies with ball.
Definitely, indeed. I mean, Shea Hope literally took over the captaincy from Rovman Powell. They always are a little controversial surrounding Shea Hope being the captain. How do you see Shea Hope as the West Indies leader?
Yeah, I think it was a good decision. She hoped when he was left out of West Indies cricket for a little while, went back to the drawing boards, worked on his game. They felt that he was playing too slow for white ball, and he came back. Had an opportunity with the Guyana Amazon Warriors, took that opportunity to show that he's ready for white ball cricket at the T20 level, and he made it count. Because of his success with the Guyana Amazon Warriors, they entrusted him again with an opportunity to play for West Indies. And when they were looking for a captain, it was an automatic decision to have Shea Hope there. He was their best player in terms of one who can cement a place in the West Indies side, hands down. And they were looking for longevity from a player. It is Shea Hope. And we know that after coming back, his head was in a good place as well. And that maturity that we have seen from him with the guy in Amazon Warriors, they wanted to use that brain and that maturity to take West Indies forward. So, hands down, best choice. We had the likes of, like you said, Rovman Powell, Jason Holder there as well. Shimon Hetmaya with experience of West Indies under 19 captain, franchise all over the world. So not only Shea Hope there, Akil Hussein, who's been around the world as well. These guys are contributing, but Shea Hope as a captain, quite receptive. He listens, he understands what his role is, what is expected of him. We always hear him speak about the people of the Caribbean and the fans back home. He knows that there's big expectation as well, and he's trying to live up to that, trying to make everyone happy back home.
You know, very, very great and wonderful comments there. When I was looking at the West Indies team and I see a youth all the way from Essequibo, and you know who I'm talking to, um, he was selected. Well, I can't really remember his name
Quinton
as
Sampson.
Samson, right? Samson. You know, he played in the Amazon Warriors. Got couple wonderful knocks. And when I see him in the West Indies team, to me, I was very much surprised to see a Samson in that team. But you, Mr. John, have seen the development of this kid. You've been there in the table arena for a while. You know, tell us a little bit about Samson as a cricketer growing up in Guyana. Now he's there in the international scene.
Well, the first time I heard of this Samson was actually a softball tournament where they play with a big white ball. And speaking of that, the Florida Cup is coming up soon. The white ball that is soft, and we were covering this tournament in Guyana, and someone said that Samson made 100 in the first game. That's a morning game, and 100 and a big 100, 150 something, and then the afternoon game another 100, and then the next day, in the semi-final got 70 something, and so everyone started to, who's this Samson? And then we checked. He's a youngster from Essequibo. When the Cares T10 started, he actually was the MVP in the tournament 2 years running. And because of his electric batting, he makes it look so easy, especially hitting in the V's. So he is a power hitter, a natural aggressive player, but not slugging, plays authentic cricket strokes. I remember at one time I was seeing him in the county game at Border. He picked up a bowler from just about on the line of leg stump at Border and hit the person all the way into the football ground next door. And the ball stopped halfway the football ground. We were high up doing commentary, so you could have seen the distance. And he was not quite confident as yet in his hardball version of the game, but he started with the stay ball, started to get a bit more confident, and now we're seeing him as one of the hardest hitters of the ball because of that confidence of hitting the stay ball very hard. He has taken that into this hardball game, and now we heard Romario Shepard saying that he still thinks he hit it hard, but there's someone who's close enough, and that was this Quentin Sampson hitting it hard and clean.
Interesting indeed. You saw him from table cricket, and to that elite level of playing hardball cricket there, and seeing him at Border, Everest, wherever part of doing cricket commentary now, and now seeing him in the Amazon Warriors team playing there in the CPL, and in the West Indies team. I mean, that is amazing indeed to see the talent that possess in not only in Guyanese cricketers but in the Caribbean at whole. And this is something that the West Indies public been asking for. They're not seeing maybe a next Ramnari Sarwan, a next Chris Gale, a next Shiv Chandapal out there. Do you feel, John Ramsing, that we gonna be producing world class players in time to come? Like we've been waiting. Like West Indies cricket has been in a dismantle possession in the last 20-25 years.
Well, when you look at the likes of Shimon Hetmeyer, I think he is a world class batsman that we have produced. When you look at Gurukesh Moti as well, another exciting prospect who's been an all format player for West Indies. Tevin Imlak, he's been with Guyana's gloveman, Guyana's captain, had the opportunity at the test level. But those are some of the guys that we have produced recently. And those are the guys that you expect to take Guyana's cricket a far way in terms of, like I said, someone like a Samson coming through the ranks as well. Whether he's going to go on to play red ball or he's going to stick to white ball. It's someone as well that we can really work with. And if he's going to have that passion for playing long at the white ball level, we expect that he will try to look at videos, look at what's working for him and what's not working for him, and try to develop his craft. But he's someone as well that we can say we have produced. Just like Chris Gale, he can hit his ball a long way. But if he can stay on the park longer than off, we can say that yes, we have produced some players. We had the likes of Shamar Joseph when he came through. Many were asking, where did this raw pace come from? The likes of uh, Mark Wood in England bowling faster than the West Indians. Of course, those guys in Australia bowling faster than West Indians, and suddenly Shamar with a breath of fresh air. So the likes of Alzari, likes of Jaden Seals, and Shamar Joseph, we felt that yes, we have some fast bowlers again that we can look at. So yes, we are producing quality players for the world. Just a matter of management and having these players stay on the field longer than off.
Emphasis as well as we get in depth in our conversation. I want to say a big shout out to Mr. Leonard at Chaibar. Gotta say shout out to you. Hope you're doing well, Mr. Lenny, and also shout out to Harry Charan family, Mr. Chris, and DJ Shivi as well, and to everybody else that is sharing our forum tonight. Welcome to another edition, the second edition of Cricket Fever. We're talking with Mr. John Ramsing. We talk a little bit about Gurukesh Moti. We talk a little bit about Samson and Jason Holder. Let us emphasize a little bit about a star from Kanji, Mr. Shemron Hetmai. A lot have been said about him, how inconsistent he's been. He haven't still lived up to that expectation that a lot of people may think about him. He went to IPL. They literally put him as a finisher, number 6, number 5, number 7, a chop and change. And here is the World Cup 2026, and you have Chevron Hetmeyer batting at number 3. Now tell us that decision there, from a finisher role to a number 3 position for the West Indies team.
Well, like I said earlier, he started as a top order batter for the West Indies at a youth level, and that's where he made his name. After the 19 World Cup, he was uh, given a contract straight away to IPL himself, Sherfin Rutherford, and Kimo Paul, the guy in his trio at the time. And from the IPL, because of the frequency of matches and the different roles and the different conditions and so on, those IPL franchise who had the opportunity to have Shimon Hetmeyer on their side felt that he was not necessarily the best top order. Maybe they had a stronger top order with the likes of Virat Kohli when he was at the RCB. So when you look at that, maybe the best place for him is down maybe in the middle order. Then they felt, okay, let's look at him as a finisher. So he was tried as a finisher, proved to be successful, and that's where they started to use him. But he's made his name as a top order batter for West Indies, and here he is back again in a role. Maybe you can say a role that was made vacant. You don't really want to say too much with the retirement of Nicholas Puran as a top order who can go set up things nicely for West Indies, whether they're batting first or chasing on a target. So you want your best batters to have more of the batting, and that's why Shimon Hetmeyer and Shea Hope at the top of the order for West Indies is like the best decision our West Indies have made recently in this format, because the middle order is solid as well. With the likes, if you look at where Romario Shepherd is batting, not always given an opportunity to bat in the last game, just two deliveries he had to face. But the middle order has been very solid. The lower order in terms of the all rounders, they're tested and proven as well. So when you look at roles now, Shimon Hetmeyer at the top of the order is the best thing for West Indies. Not necessarily opening. He can do that. Trust me, he can. But at number three, one down, perfect.
Let's talk a little bit about Akil Hussein. A bowler down there who could bowl that 4 overs in the power play, get some early wickets as well. I know in the last couple of series he haven't really been performing that well. I know Shea Hope sometimes puts him to bowl in the middle. Akil Hussein, I always feel once you play him, you got to bowl him in that power play.
Yeah, he's made his name right there as well in that power play. It was since in the Caribbean Premier League, playing for the Barbados Tridents as they were then, where he started to bowl in that power play, not getting a lot of turn, but getting drift, getting the ball maybe to bounce a bit more. And if it hits the seam, depends on the conditions as well, it can deviate. And they started to think that okay, he's not only picking up wickets, but keeping things tight in that power play. So if you can get 3 overs out of him in the power play, excellent. And that's where he has made his name. And I think that's where he belongs really. And with Gurukesh Moti coming in the middle just after the power play, you can say opposition teams will have to really consider playing 12 overs against West Indies as opposed to full 20, because these two left-arm spinners take away their 8 overs, and that's it.
I'm happy that you said 12 overs because automatically you have to play Royston Chase as a permanent player in the West Indies team right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's proven himself. When they actually did not play him in the very first game that the West Indies played, Matthew Ford was in that game. Then there was a swap for the game against England, and Chase made his name. Well, continue to have some fantastic performances. But I think they're going to look at it as they played horses for courses. If the conditions favor some spinning, if there's some spinning tracks, if the lots of left armers as well in batting, in terms of the batting, Russell Chase will fit in nicely. But if it's a seeming friendly wicket, you must expect someone like a Matthew Ford to have the nod. Maybe Jaden Seals will come in, and who's going to go out? It will be Roston Chase.
Yes, more than likely, for sure. We got about 10 minutes. Yes, we got about 10 minutes more before we wrap up today's edition. John, do you see the West Indies going into the final and take that trophy this year?
Yeah, I think the belief is there. Many persons burning the midnight oil, 1:30 game in the morning in Guyana. So you see that there's a passion there as well, and with the likes of the determination on field. If you look at what Dan Sammy have been working with in terms of these guys doing different things, there is a belief among West Indians on field and off the field. So yes, I do believe West Indians have what it takes, not only to go to the final, but to lift the title this year. Like I said, India, they look really good. South Africa, to a top notch. But somehow South Africa, like we saw in the last final against India, again choking. But West Indies, I think they have it.
So we're looking good to lift that trophy this year, John.
Very good.
Yes, I mean England. They play Italy today. England made 2 for 7 with Will Jacks 53 and Tom Banton made 30. Phil Salt made 28. Italy were bowled out for 178, and with Justin Musa made 43 and Ben Maniti made 60. Grant Stewart 45 and Overton 3 for 18 and Sam Curran 3 for for 22. So England, they had a pretty disappointed game against the West Indies. Would you say, John, that that was an upset that England defeated that West Indies defeated England? Because
No,
let me stick a pin there. As I said, a lot of people did not give the West Indies an opportunity in this year World Cup. I know so many people out there was like messaging me, DJ Shaun, they're not going to win one game, boy. They're not going to get two games. They're not going to go into Super 8. And here's the West Indies, 3 games, undefeated. Like I am surprised myself.
yeah. But when you look at the way England played their very first game, they were struggling. Just got over the ropes barely. Against West Indies, they were outplayed. And even today against Italy, in with a chance until the
Yes,
very maybe 18th over. Sam Curran came and he did wonderfully well. However, so England, because of that, I mean, hindsight is always 2020 vision. But England, they've been, maybe can put them into that category now with West Indies and Pakistan. Very unpredictable, and because of that recent form, both sides, I always had West Indies to beat England, and in fact, the FS Sport office, we had a very small viewing party for that game because it was prime viewing, and everyone were told to wear maroon, and everyone stuck to the plan because we felt that was the game to win to get to the next stage, and everyone felt what, West Indies will beat England, and so said, so done. England, they're showing that they can be beaten.
well, definitely, indeed, West Indies are looking pretty good. They're qualified for the Super 8. I want to say a big shout out to Mr. Leonard, a Chaibor boy. And Leonard, that's my uncle, John, cricket commentator there as well, there in the Bronx, New York. And he is one of the biggest Australia kangaroo fanboy. I remember, he always tell me, boy, Australia are so dominant, man. They're going to win everything. And, when you look at the Australia team today, they were totally outplayed by a very good Sri Lanka team, John.
Yeah, pumped up Sri Lanka team with the home fans cheering them on, that 12th man. You know, but Australia, I love the brand of cricket Australia play. Everyone have their second best team. West Indies is my first choice. Australia is my second choice because of that brand of cricket they play. If you look at the likes of, there's no the trio, Josh Hazelwood,
I'll say the word.
Pat Cummings, and of course, how was his name?
Who is that?
Stark.
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 Yeah, Mitchell
Right.
Stark.
So when you look at those three bowlers that are missing from the Australia lineup, it goes to show how much dependent they are on these three bowlers. Because look at what, just one wicket the managed to pick up
Yes,
today, and those guys are trusted bowlers. They've been proven to give West Australia, wickets in the death in the power play. So Mitchell Stark has been a wonderful bowler for them over the years, a workhorse, and so they're really missing these players. And today their captain came back, Marsh, and he started beating the ball all around the park. But they need bowlers who can actually come into a World Cup. You need not rookie bowlers. They have good bowlers, don't get me wrong, but they're not bowlers that have proven themselves just yet to go and dominate in a World Cup. That's why Australia are in the position they are today because of the lack of their bowling.
definitely indeed. Australia, they made 181 with Travis Head 56 and Mitchell Marsh 54. Josh Inglis made 27 and Glenn Maxwell 22. Patum Nisanka, a fantastic 100 indeed, alongside Kushal Mendes 51. I always love the way Kushal Mendes bat for Sri Lanka. So flawless, so elegant. Nisanka, very, very aggressive indeed. He played an amazing innings today. And a little bit of history as well. I think it was the highest total on that wicket Sri Lanka actually chased. So that
Yeah.
in itself, Sri Lanka are here to play as well, John.
Yeah, I agree. Playing at home says a lot. I mean, sometimes it can be intimidating. But think about this as well. They lost Patirana very early in his very
Very early.
first over, so they really had to come back. But after the start, Australia had at one stage they're
I think they were 100 odd, 100 without loss.
116 for two in the 11th.
Yes.
And I was watching the game quite closely, and I started to predict. I said, you know what, 215 is what Australia will end up with. But then They managed to, Sri Lanka managed to get a breakthrough. One became two, and they took their catches, took their chances, and 180. You felt that Australia left runs out there, maybe 20, 25 runs short of where they want to be at the end of their 20 overs. And I think that is where Sri Lanka realized that they have it momentum going into the run chase, and knowing that there's a good batting track, they have good batters, and Australia, with the lack of their experienced bowlers, so they really pounced on them, and they did it in fantastic style, 2 overs to spare.
Well, yeah, as I said, it was a definitely convincing win. Sri Lanka are here to play as well. And it's a very competitive World Cup, John. We had some upsets. Zimbabwe defeated Australia. We had USA, had India in totters at 88 for 6. And then Surya Kumar Yadav played a fantastic innings. Italy win their first game. So it's been a very competitive World Cup. It haven't been a one-sided affair. Maybe one-sided. You look at India versus Pakistan. That was a one-sided game. But as I said, it's been a competitive World Cup so far.
Yeah, and that's what you want. I mean, it's a world stage. Maybe with the likes of Scotland not being able to prepare adequately because of that late call after Bangladesh pulled out. But the other teams, they're assured of a spot in the World Cup, and preparation would have started. And because they're some of the teams realizing what's at stake, especially the associate teams. I must say it was a wonderful move. It is a wonderful move by the ICC to bring in the likes of Oman, uh, Italy in this case. These guys will learn. Look at when Afghanistan started to where they are today.
Yes.
They before the start of the tournament, because of what they did 2 years ago in that T20 World Cup in the Caribbean, many felt they were at least on course for another semi-final berth. Was not to be. That's because the other teams have caught up as well. And it's that competitive nature you really want in a World Cup. You must not say, okay, we already know who the top eight will be, who know who the semi-finalists will be, and maybe who the finalists will be. You really want it to be competitive. And with bringing in the associates teams, you also get a lot of TV rights, bigger audience. They've lost lots of persons from Bangladesh in terms of TV rights, but bringing in the associate teams, you can also win back some of those.
Very nice indeed. We have about 5 minutes more before program time. I want to say blessings and happy Monday to everybody that is sharing our posts right here on Facebook, and we live as well on YouTube as well. Joining us tonight is no stranger when it comes to cricket forum, Mr. John Ramsing, internationally recognized cricket commentator and founder of the FL Sport. John, before we wrap up tonight's edition, I know my guests gonna want to know a little bit about FL Sport in Ghana. I know you normally launch it a couple of years back, and also the Cures One Ghana T10 Table Blast. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So let's look at FL Sport in terms of the streaming platform first and foremost. So we started, like I said, after COVID-19 when in-person interaction was not really possible. So we started with just one camera, one switcher, and lots of ideas. And we started to broadcast games, lots of games from Berbice, of course, the Moraro, where I'm from. And it has grown significantly. We know the sought after streaming network in Guyana, private jobs, government jobs, in the city, out of the city, so we have added many cameras, we have many angles, slow motion replay, uh, live score ticker. Um, so we have seen a whole lot of improvements on that front. What we're looking to do is to have, perhaps bring in the DRS pretty soon. It's quite expensive, but we're working on it. We have some good partners. One of the things that we managed to do as well, Stump Mike, they try to be up there like a real broadcast company, um, despite it being a stream. So yeah, so that's where it is, and it's pretty much catching on around Guyana. And in terms of the table tournament, we have had three successful tournaments already. Time is really flying.
Oh,
Edition four, edition four is going to be launched pretty soon. We have locked in our. This is like breaking news. You may want to say we have locked in the the title sponsor once again. Uh,
Nice.
Carrez Engineering. Thank you very much to Mr. Radesh Rameshwar and his entire team. So yeah, so we've locked in the title sponsor. We're gonna be launching very soon. We're gonna stick to the format of having 80 teams compete for more than $2 million individual team prize as a winning purse, and so just about $10 million overall in cash and other prizes up for grabs. It is the most lucrative tournament in Guyana, and chances are in the rest of the Caribbean as well. But I said overall. But in terms of table, it has been proven that way. Uh, Teams from as far as Pakistan have the interest of coming to Ghana to play for this prize money. We have had discussions, and chances are we will be having a bigger tournament, not just for local teams, but international teams pretty soon. Um, Finals this year for the KS1 Guyana T10 Table Blast is going to be heading to not the Providence Stadium like we've been for the past 3 seasons, another stadium in Guyana. We have multiple options now, and that's going to be in October towards the back end. We'll after CPL this year, and again, some more inside news for you, DJ Shaun, and your audience.
Well, that's fantastic news indeed. I wish you all the best, lots of success. I have seen the development from where it started to now. And I know my brother there, WR Ria, has always, send me the link whenever his team and stuff is playing. And I do like the quality in terms of what you does, because every year I'm seeing is getting better, it's getting better, it's getting like to a real international standards. And man, who knows? Maybe DJ Shaun and John Ramsing will be in that commentary booth, DJ and what commentating on a game pretty soon. Maybe next year. Who knows that?
That sounds good.
Sounds amazing. And John, I want to wish you all the best on this venture. I know you've been into the cricket fraternity for years. You mentioned that during your introduction statement. And thank you for coming on board tonight as my guest for Cricket Fever. All right. I will be having you on subsequent week once you have the availability and time. But I want to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interview here tonight.
It is a pleasure and an honor. I want to wish you all the best as well. The longest journey, you must always remember this, starts with the very first step, and you have made that step. So keep going, my friend.
And I really appreciate that. And thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for the support. And looking forward to have you here more often on Cricket Fever right here on GT592 FM. On behalf of myself and management team, John, we wish you and the family and your wonderful daughter dear blessings and love for a great and wonderful Monday night.
Thank you very much. All the best. Cheers.
So there you have it, guys. Mr. John Ramsing, our guest for tonight's Cricket Fever. I literally have about 3 minutes. Yes, about 3 minutes. I literally started a little late, and magic of music will be happening in the next couple of minutes. Alex Shea will be on. I want to say thank you guys so much for locked in into tonight's edition. This program is brought to you with the kind compliments of Dale Moti, Boynton Beach, and also to the Beam family sponsor last week and this week as well. I have some other sponsors that literally came on board. I want to say big shout out as well goes out to my cousin, to VJ. Yes, Mr. VJ, Primol and family. Gotta say big shout out to you, VJ. I didn't have the opportunity to get that ad on the radio today because I've been so busy. But on Sunday and on the next edition of Cricket Forum, until cricket season are finished, I'll be dropping your ads on the radio as well. All right, I want to say a big shout out as well to Kimberly Forbes from Jamaica. Yes, hope you're doing well. Kimberly, thank you so much for locked in. And a special good night as well to Krish Haricharan, and also to Leonard Achaibar, to DJ Shivi, and to everybody else who take that little time out, to Mr. Sateshwar Prasad there, Adana Holmes down in Canada as well. I know today's a holiday there in Canada, so happy Family Day, I think it is down in Canada. Blessings to you guys. Thank you so much for locked in, and to everybody that share our page, interact with us, and join us next, today's Monday, probably Thursday. Not 100% conform with that, but I'm looking to have a next program Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30. Once that is confirmed, the flyer will be dropping Wednesday evening. All right. So thank you guys so much. And as I always say, this program here do take a lot of work when it comes to myself, because sometimes I don't get the opportunity to watch the games because of work, and the games that are starting late, and I have to literally take that little time out to watch all the games, make sure that I have my stats when I come on the radio for you guys to know what's happening in the T20 World Cup. All right, apart from music, apart from DJ and all the party atmosphere as well, this is a platform I have created not 1 year, not 2 year, not 5 years, about 10 years now. And this journey have started in Tortola, British Virgin Islands. This platform have evolved each and every year from small to medium to where it is. It's still not where it is, but it's definitely building. And I want to say a big shout out to all the listeners, the fans, for always taking the little time out and locked in and share. All right. There is so much that I want to do on this platform here. Who knows who will be my next guest for next week edition? All right. And for all those cricket lovers, too numerous to mentions. Um, I always try to reach out to cricket fraternity people out there in terms of knowledge of the games to come on board. And if you want to come on, and I'm speaking to on behalf of Mr. Leonard Achaibar or Mr. Chris or whoever want to come on this platform is open up to you guys. All right. I have like about 4 confirmed guests to feature on this platform here. My next guest is coming all the way from Toronto, Canada. Then from Toronto, Canada, we heading back to Guyana. Then from Guyana, we head into Trinidad. All right. So every week, I want to give you different guests. Last week we had Matthew Achaibar from the Bronx. He's always here when it comes to a cricket program. All right, we had the opportunity to listen to Mr. John Ramsing tonight, a person who I have always admired in terms of cricketing knowledge, listening to him during the intercounty time. And I did mention that to you guys. I have someone that is amazingly educated when it comes to cricket journalism as well. And I'm going to share it with you next Wednesday. Conform Wednesday program will be on Thursday. All right. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys taking the time out and share with us. I got to go until next time, people. Have a productive night. Magic of music is coming up. Please, guys, please download the GT592FM radio app. All right. This is a radio station that is evolving and is getting bigger, is getting better. And as you guys know, I've only started on the radio like what, maybe less than a month. And in less than a month, I have been able to accumulate so much, you know. So I don't want you guys to miss out on this wonderful forum that I am building here. Have a great, have a productive night until Thursday. Bye bye.
We are a peaceful people, struggling we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over